Now, as I said, our main topic of tonight's interview is online training. And my first question is, imagine we could turn back the clock 5 years. Would you have ever thought that online training would play such an important role for you and for your company?
No would be the short and pithy answer to that one, Matt. No. Funnily enough, about 10 years ago, I tried to get into online training. I invested in Second Life and things like that, and the companies just weren't ready for it. But now, 5 years ago, I would have said, no, online training is not for us. That's the simple answer.
Yeah, I could basically agree to that. I mean, I was always, I remember when we got hit, in March, I was like, I used to be the biggest enemy, when it came down to online training. Yeah, but it's amazing, all right? It's amazing what 1 year can do with yourself, isn't it?
Yeah, you've got to work hard at it. We've worked hard at it, and we can put on a good product now. I mean, our big fear, Matt, was that we wouldn't. Business languages has always been about the teachers' personalities. All of our
Right.
teachers, they work very hard, they entertain, they teach, they use kind of everything that they've got. And we didn't know how could we bring that across online. But now we do.
Okay,
Now
that's
we've got
actually
it
going to
down.
be one of my next questions. So we'll just keep that point in mind. I think that's a very important topic. So just before we get to that question, could you tell me, in your opinion, what do you think are the main advantages of online training compared to, let's say, in-person classroom learning?
There are a lot of advantages. I mean, number one, think about subsidiaries. Look, if we're going to be global, we have to be global. Teams are made up of people who aren't always in the same building, and you can get them all into a class now, be it a project team, be it a sales team, be it people from your subsidiaries, be it even people in other countries. Material, you can do it very, very efficiently. You can call up material from anywhere. It's all out there on the internet, podcasts, videos, exercises, games, you name it. You can call anything up. The time and place, I think, is a big thing. You could do it at your own discretion. It's much easier to arrange an online training than presence training. They would be the three advantages that spring to mind straight off.
Yeah, flexibility is definitely something really big, isn't it, when it comes down
It
to
is.
teaching? Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those were the advantages, and I know this might not be the best question, but my question would also be: do you see any disadvantage?
Yeah, I mean, we have to talk about that. Of course, there are disadvantages. We have too much screen time at the moment. We're all online all day, every day. Social isolation, that's a disadvantage. Um, Technology issues, that's a disadvantage. You got to, funnily enough, I forgot to hardwire myself. And just before I came on, I had to run upstairs, stick in my DSL cable because if you're not hardwired, the Wi-Fi can give up on you. It's happened to us a couple of times. Now we know we've got to be hardwired. So technology, social isolation, they would be the difficult things and too much screen time.
Yeah, too much screen time. I mean, that was my problem in 2020, if we're honest. Like, I just spent so much time in front of the computer,
Me too.
working on this hard. And I mean, you too. And, I mean, your hobbies and activities often took place on the computer. But
I know.
2021, I really, took an account. I have to go back out, do walks. So what I do is, a good friend of mine who's watching tonight, Mickey, thank you very much for that advice. He helped me out with listening to podcasts, right? Listening to podcasts, going out for a walk, listening to just topics where I really never was into that in the past. So I really think that's something new and enjoyable, right? So kind of
Yeah.
combining new
Yeah.
technology and old technology.
Yeah, but you got to get out, you got to exercise, you got to keep your mind fresh.
So your brother just jumped in. He said, Frank, excellent quality stream, guys. Very impressed. Thank you, Frank, so much, man.
Hey, Frankie, thanks very much.
Thank you very much. Yeah, as I said, we're working hard, and it's
Yeah.
just, you might have seen in the trailer. I mean, things change, and that's what I'm
Hmm.
saying. I mean, everybody out there, all the trainers, all the people listening that have to do online trainings and stuff, guys, live content rocks, and it's fun. You have to be passionate in doing it. And you don't, you just don't be shy. The more you practice, it's like me. The more you practice, the better you get, and it,
Practice, practice, practice.
it's practice, practice, practice. Absolutely. So, I mean, do you see any My next question would be here. It's just a great talk with you, Donald. First, Sláinte. Sláinte, what a great chat tonight. Sláinte, good luck. Michael says video and sound definitely improved. Well done. Oh yeah, we've had some issues, haven't we?
Yeah. But you live in it.
Now, do you see any social, developmental, or other pros or cons of virtual education?
Yeah, well, it comes down to, being yourself. Look, if you're giving an online training, just remember, these people are giving up their time to be there. You've got to be 100% there for them. They're very, very important. Yeah, you've got to do the small talk. Small talk is even more important on online trainings. Find out about people. Take notes. Ask them again. If somebody says, yeah, my daughter started in kindergarten last week. Next week, so how'd your daughter get on in kindergarten? Those little things make a social connection. It's very, very, very important. And it can be easily overlooked. I don't think you should get straight down to business. I really don't. I think meetings, presentations, there's always a bit of social interaction first. Now we can't be in the same room. So do it online. Do it as you would if you were there. Be yourself.
Right. And I'd like to add something on that point because, one thing, we're talking about when we're talking about online trainings, of course, it's important, good sound, good video. But, Donald and both of us, I've been talking to you about that recently. And what he just said is such an important point is when you're in front of the computer and you're talking to someone that you can really focus on the conversation. And I really had a lack of focusing on conversations in the evening because I've been sitting in front of the computer whole day and I wasn't used to it, right? So what I've been doing recently is training mindfulness. And mindfulness also, Mitch helped me out on that one, is really down to the meditation game where you sit there in the morning, you start straightening your thoughts, and it's a total different experience because you sit in the class and then you have the energy and you have the space in your head, in your mind, to remember those little, small, important things that people really know, hey, you're listening 100% and you're really taking them serious. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're dead right.
So that's... Couldn't agree. So it's not just good audio and good video, it's also a great, very important, how good is the overall conversation, content-wise, right? Okay. Donald, you look 10 years younger.
Murat. Thanks, Matt. Oh, that's Murat. Okay. Thanks, okay. Murat. I appreciate it.
All these compliments coming in. Wow.
I got 20 years younger earlier, so you're a bit off, but I know my mommy is pleased.
Is she watching too?
Don't know. If she's not watching, Frank, send her a message. Tell her to turn it on.
You won't believe what's on TV, right? Sabrina. Hey, Sabrina always joins in. That's great. Sabrina, how are you tonight? How are you doing? So, I mean, the people that live in our area and a lot of the companies, they've known Donald. I mean, Donald's been on the market for ages, like a lot of our trainers have. Very experienced trainers, been out there in the business for such a long time. And as I said, it was a big change for all of us. He was my mentor as well. My coach taught me just how to teach and how to be authentic. Yeah. But I mean, what kind of tips do you have? Because a lot of my customers, they always, they're a little bit afraid. They say, Matt, if I have to present online, I can't be authentic. So my question is, you as pioneer of language trainings, how do you manage to stay authentic and online, and what tools help you to do it?
Yeah. Okay. First of all, you got to look good. You got to make sure your lights are okay. You got to make sure that you're in the right position, that your sound is okay. You've got to make sure that you have a plan. Small talk at the beginning, yes. But then you've got to have a red line running through the class. It's like as if you are in presence training. It's got to be very, very effective, very, very efficient, and very, very entertaining. Tools, yeah. In a couple of minutes, we're going to look at my background and we'll see Matt's background. You got to make it homely. Look, if you're in a boring office, okay, fair enough. You can probably use one of those Teams backgrounds. But think about your background. I one day hadn't prepared, and I got into the class, quick, picked a background. Okay, there's someone behind me, fine, started talking, and the person I was talking to said, you're a Minecraft fan. It is Minecraft. I'm 55. The last video game I was good at was Space Invaders at the end of the 70s. So, think about your background if you're going to use a background. And if you're not going to use a background, use a nice, homely, welcoming, warm setting. Set the scene.
Right. Yeah, I couldn't agree anymore. That's just so important. Especially if you're doing it for a living, right? I mean,
yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, so being authentic.
Worth putting a bit of investment into.
Yeah.
Stream desks are great. If you've got these little buttons that you can click from one to the next scene, they're very, very good. Good microphone is important. Lights are important. Good camera.
Well, we have a good question coming in here. We got actually some really good questions. Chat is really on fire tonight. So Michael wants to know, what if your class has no cameras available, only sound? Man, I imagine it's very hard to keep concentration high. Do you have experience with that? Now, that is a good question here.
That's an issue.
It is an issue.
It works.
It works. It really also depends on who you're teaching in that case. That's something you have to admit. I mean, for example, a new technology which is being used, there's a big hype out now, is called Clubhouse. And it's an Apple app. It's an app designed for Apple or for iPhones. I'm sorry, and you can only participate if you get an invite. And I mean, I think they were worth 100 million with only having 10,000 members. That was like on the news 2-3 weeks ago. And they don't use videos. All they do is just do like virtual podcast rooms. So I also think it depends on the learner. Me personally, as a teacher, and me often teaching younger kids, younger adults, I really need to see my class. I'm honest. Right.
I would agree with that up to a point, Matt. I mean, think about podcasts. You can learn very, very well from podcasts without seeing the person as well. As long as you're clear in advance, okay, we've got no cameras, we're doing it only by audio, it can work. It does work. Podcasts would be the idea. Of course, the perfect setup is good visuals.
Yeah. And companies are on the way. I mean, at the beginning, obviously, when COVID hit Germany and all the other parts of the world, a lot of companies were not prepared. I mean, they didn't have the IT infrastructure. They didn't have the hardware going. Meanwhile, they've also improved, and a lot of people have their own laptops or some kind of mobile device. And I mean, every basic device. I mean, look, I mean, mobile phones, for example, I mean, you can even stream with a really good, I mean, with an iPhone or an Android phone, you can really stream with that. I mean, using the camera. You don't have to have expensive cameras in front of yourself. So Fidelma says, I'm studying for a master's and it's all online currently and it's very interactive. I think Donald's advice about being yourself and a little socialization is really important.
Yeah, I can't emphasize that enough. You gotta make the social connection. These people got to know that you care about them. That's how we teach. We care about our people. We care about our customers. We really, how many customers end up being friends?
Yeah, absolutely.
Why? Because we actually like what we do and we like the people that we teach, and we can do that online as well.
And I've made the experience, I'd just like to add here, I teach all kinds of age groups, and I've had a few elderly people that, I mean, they were the first to jump in on this online train. They love it. I mean, they were so interested in getting equipment together. And I said, could you get yourself a headset? And, like a week later, they had their headset together and they were so interested in participating and they just loved their online training. So Christian Fry says the companies did more than they would have done within 5 years without COVID regarding digitization. Absolutely.
That is true.
That is true. I mean, I'm sorry, Don.
Yeah, and I mean, companies are looking at how much money they saved last year by not having people staying in hotels for courses, for meetings, things like that. How much money did they save on their carpools? It's not going to go back to how it was.
Yeah. So your mom just jumped in and said, Donald, you look terrific. Such a young man.
Thanks, Mammy.
That's nice. Hi, Brita. Nice to have you. How are you? Yeah,
I have a great picture of Mammy coming up later.
let's just not forget, right, guys? We won't we have time for that one. Let's not forget what happened in the past. You know what happened to him with Corona, right? We're getting back into business, and now he's back sharp, looking nice. Yeah, oh yeah. But I'm just thrilled to death. So, what an interesting topic, and it's great that everybody's really participating. After our interview, we're gonna bring some people here live on. All of you guys that are listening, right? You can join, even if you just want to join audio-wise. You don't have to put on a camera. We'll talk to you about that in a bit. So what we're using here is this called interview mode. And I'll tell you something about that later on as well. I do have one more last question until I want you to tell us a little bit about your background. Nice business trips will not happen that often from now on. Yeah, that's true. Right.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I mean, okay, we'll deal with that later. All right, I'm going to tilt my camera.
Just one more thing. How do you see the future of language training?
Yeah, the future of language training, a lot of it is going to be online. There will be presence training again, but companies are going to get used to having their trainings online because they're going to be working online. They're going to be holding their meetings online. They're going to be holding their presentations online. So a lot of them are going to say, look, we need to be trained online. It's going to be a big part. It's not going to be everything.
Okay.
A lot of our teachers want to get back to presence training. Yeah, great. We're going to do that too. It'll be, I won't say 50-50. It'll be more online than presence. That's my
something I said in one of the past streams is, the thing is, what was your product before COVID? What is your product afterwards? And if you were able to improve your overall range of services, then I think you did something right. So, So now, to your background, I think that's really interesting, and that's a very important topic. I'm going to bring you in here on full screen, and maybe you can tilt. There you go, and tell us a little bit about your background.
I'm going to get out of the way a little bit because people ask me, well, what is your background there? The far right from my point of view is my first ever football team. I was about 8 or 9, Tuberclare National School. We won a blitz in Athlone. Very proud of that picture. Beside that is Roy Keane, the man, the master, the myth, one of the greatest footballers who ever played. Maradona's my favorite footballer ever. Sorry for the Brazilians, but he is. But Roy was the greatest Irish footballer ever. In the middle, my kids drew that for me one time when I was going to Ireland. I was going to a Carol MacDonald's wedding. And it says, hey, Daddy, blah, blah, blah. I hope you have a good time. I hope you don't smoke and get drunk. And I hope you come back and bring us lots of presents. And I've had it ever since. I love it. Behind that is the Irish Proclamation. You can't see that. Beside it is the clapboard, I think you call it, that we used to use for our movies when we could shoot with Benny. Beside that is my baptism cup. So down, I'm going back over to the other side. That's just my box for my Yeti microphone.
We just have a comment coming in. Liam asks, what's Roy doing?
Roy is pointing at Liam and Alina's picture.
Oh, okay. All right. I got it. Okay. So
my books. I just put the books there for conversation pieces. What I think is the great American novel, Dom DeLillo, Underworld, I beg your pardon. Flann O'Brien, The Best of Miles, brilliant Irish writing. The Bible. Everybody who knows me knows I'm not a religious man, but everybody should read the Bible sometime. Jokes. You got to have a joke ready. There's a book of jokes. Yeah. The history of pop music. Ulysses and Us. Ulysses is a very difficult book to read. If you want to read it, read this book at the same time. It's kind of a little cheat. It explains things for you. Loved it. Lost Highway about music and another James Joyce one. And look, that's my mommy and daddy the day they got married. A long time ago.
That's Rome. A long time ago, huh?
And then I got a few little things. I don't know if you can see it. Look, my challenge is to entertain, energize, teach. And what's that one? Interest. So that's my background.
Nice. Thank you. Thank you very much.
This is why I need to tilt so that I'm the same size as Matty.
Because I'm a small fella. Yes, but I got something working in the meanwhile. Thank you very much. That's really interesting, and that was the point where Donald said, you know, you need something in the background. Michael
Wait,
says,
Matt, beg your pardon. I have to put this in.
hold
The
on a
most
second.
important thing, Ireland and Brazil. For me and Sylvia, there we are. Ireland and Brazil.
Oh,
In my excitement, I jumped over it.
that's beautiful, and that's live on stream, right? And all of our streams, if you miss a stream, you can, if you subscribe to our channel, you don't even have to subscribe, but you can watch our streams at any time. And I think that's also an advantage of online training when we're talking about that you know, you can
You can
record your,
record. People can
right,
come in later.
right,
Very
exactly.
good point. Yeah.
Yeah,
Very
I mean,
good.
there's companies that's all they do is they record their content and then they sell it. So Michael says, nice background, I like it. And Sonia Regina says, I'm in Brazil now.
Yes, Sonia, sorry about the Maradona comment.
Guys, what is your biggest lesson learned in terms of business in a pandemic? Good question coming in.
Our biggest lesson learned.
Yeah, I'd say,
You have to have built up. Yeah, our customers have been so loyal. I mean,
yeah,
some of them, I don't want to mention names, but some of our customers have been so goddamn good to us in this pandemic. They want us to survive. Why? Because we've put in the hard work. Yeah.
yeah, he's asking,
Connections. Go
did
on.
any customers change faces? Well, no. I mean, like Donald said, the majority have been super loyal, but it's always the Germans just tend to have a really loyal business relationship, and that's
Thank
something.
God.
Yeah, thank God. That's something I think Germany has to be super proud of these loyal relationships between customers and suppliers and stuff. So, and just business corporations is great. Now, I got something working I wanted to show you here real quick, guys, just on the fly. This is new. I'm going to pop this up in the middle. This is the beer cam. So the beer cam, I got a sip left. Sláinte, guys, you can see it here. I'm using the NDI technology. And you remember how we had to kind of pass over pints and stuff?
That's the thing. We have developed. We have come on a lot.
So I got my beer cam. I'll put my beer cam right over there. As you can see, we still got a sip left and bring it back out. Thank you guys for all these interesting questions. Now, Valerian says, very nice. Thank you. Okay, chat likes it. So as you can see, my background, Donald told a lot about his background. My background, yeah, with a lot of lights and all that stuff. I just loved playing around with the new technology and yeah, a very creative guy. I've always been a creative guy. And
Sure have.
therefore, yeah. My biggest lesson learned was never give up, and it's not your fault, kind of,
Yeah. True. That's true.
That was,
Very true. You got to keep going. It's very tough. It's tough for all of us. We got to keep going. There's no zero option.